Trent Alexander-Arnold.
I thought you guys were sick of talking about him.
I'm happy he's not my player anymore. I'm just analysing his performance from Club World Cup, which I was the host of the stream that we did last night.
Oh, so you even watched it?
Yeah.
Wow.
I watched it, mate, with Raul, which was tough. But hey-ho, we got through it in the end. So, as we know, Trent was, it was a very mixed night, to put it lightly. He said after, it's an amazing day to make my debut for Real Madrid. Almost what every player dreams of. Incredible. I felt the support from the minute I signed for the club. The fan base is truly global all over the world. Well, Liverpool's isn't. So
you're still hurting it.
No, it's so salty.
You really, yeah, man.
Wow.
Even for a man of your sensitivity, of which you are known. He's known for that. And I say that with respect.
Okay.
But Alex is one of the more sensitive people. Nice guy, but very sensitive. No, but seriously, this one really hurts you.
It's really
bro.
digging in deep,
really
isn't it?
does.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, it's all good.
Long-term relationship, you're out
I
of
could
here?
fire a few shots back, but you know what? I don't want to stoop down to your level, so we'll just keep it moving. But the quotes from Xabi Alonso after the game talked about being at the level in terms of discipline, fitness, improving. They weren't all flowers and sunshine, those quotes. So talk us through the game. I mean, we watched it together with Raul last night. He lost the most duels, I think the most unsuccessful passes as well. Listen, it is only his debut. But at the same time, that's against a team from the Saudi Pro League who actually, I think, played quite well.
They've got a good team.
Triangles, they were knocking it about, and Zague's going to do well, I think. But what did you make of Trent's performance last night?
I don't know, like, it's difficult. I don't want to be dramatic over one game and the debut. Maybe there's a lot playing on him in his mind in terms of this is my Real Madrid debut. He's overthinking things. I think he's going to have to obviously acclimatise to the fact that he's playing with different forwards. Some of the passes and some of the crosses I saw him hitting felt like they were for Liverpool players. And I was like, you got a different team around you now. You're going to have to switch it up a little bit and play to their strengths as much as your own. Obviously, defensively, it wasn't good for him down that side. I saw him getting ripped up a couple of times. His positioning. I mean, these are things in Trent's games that has always been off. I think he's going to have exactly the same strengths at Real Madrid and exactly the same weaknesses. Going to Real Madrid is not going to make him a better defender. The heat is not going to make him a better defender. You know what I mean? He was already a bit sluggish on the turn when it come back to tracking your runners and whatnot.
Not many sprints at all.
Yeah, but I think it's his first game. Maybe there's some nerves there. I like to judge after 5 games in terms of good form and bad form. So I'm not really going to overreact to one game. But I'm more actually complimentary of Al Hilal. I thought their performance was really good. Played great football. Obviously, Inzaghi's there now. Lovely little triangles, like you said, bopping it about. It's good. It's good to see because obviously this tournament, in the first couple of games, get a little bit of criticism. But it's good for people to see that there's quality around the world. And when they come up against some of our European heavyweights, they can actually go toe-to-toe. The South American teams have been doing that for years in this tournament. Now we've got the Saudi teams doing it as well. It's good to see. So, yeah, it was a decent game. It was a good game.
Yeah, it was a good game to watch. We actually
was.
Were impressed with Al Hilal as well, considering that pretty much no one gave them a chance beforehand. On Trent, though, he's obviously, and this, listen, I take my Liverpool hat off. When you go to a new club, you have to impress the manager. You have to work almost twice as hard as the already established players there. There's a lot of work to do for Trent, and we saw maybe the start journey of that last night. Obviously got substituted after 64 minutes, but would it be fair to say that maybe some of the things that he was almost allowed to get away with at Liverpool, i.e. the not sprinting back, not breaking your neck to help your defence, you know, liability in terms of being so high up the pitch and not really having the energy to get back, we almost accepted it, and I for one did blindly defend him in a lot of cases because I didn't want to jump on the criticism of the defending, but you can't get away with that at Real Madrid. And that's not me having a go. You will get replaced instantly if you don't do the hard yards.
I mean, first and foremost, it was, let's be honest, it was an underwhelming performance. But in fairness to Trent, there were a number of players.
There were. He's not the only one.
That played yesterday for Madrid that were underwhelming. I mean, I think it was about 60-odd minutes into the game. Me and you were saying, is Bellingham playing? We were still, we didn't know whether he was still, because he'd literally done nothing. Likewise, Vinny Jr. There was a few of them. So
Yeah.
I guess him making his debut, he was always going to get special attention. So the microscope was on him. To be fair to him, also he did play a big part in the goal that Real Madrid got. He was the one that started off that move, if you remember. But yeah, it was a bit of an underwhelming performance. It is going to take time for him to adjust to Real Madrid's style of play. But I would say also as well, I was a little bit surprised the manager dug him out like that, man. I didn't think, like, okay...
You can't get away with anything at Madrid. The standards are so high that if you are not pulling your weight, whether your name's Trent, whether your name's Vinny Jr., you're coming off.
Yeah, that's fine. But like I said, there were a number of players in that team
right.
yesterday that underperformed. And from what I'm seeing, the criticism appears to be reserved for Trent. For me, that's not a good look. You've made your debut and the manager's come in and he's digging you out straight away. Now, maybe there is method to the madness. Maybe he, like you said, he's saying, look, these are our standards. You dip below, I'm going to call you out. But
he's new himself.
Yeah, exactly.
So it'll be interesting to see what standard they are at this season. I just think with Trent, his passing ability is what he's known for, and that doesn't leave you. It doesn't matter what age you are, doesn't matter where you are in your career. Even when we see Pirlo's and Rooney's at Soccer Aid, their passing ability is still there. So for me, this is very similar to the Mbappe situation, which people are going to be on his case early doors. Might take a couple of months to get himself sorted, but he's still a top player. Like he didn't do what he did in the Premier League because he wasn't a top player. So shining a light on all these deficiencies that everybody outside of Liverpool fans have been saying for years. He can't defend. He can't do this. There's no point talking about it now. It's not going to change. But what will continue to happen is on the ball, he is going to find players.
And the other thing I'm saying that as well, you are right. And the other thing I would say, and I did mention it yesterday on the watch along, is that given the nature of the players, some of the passes that he attempts, most fullbacks especially are not going to even try that. And there were a couple that he did yesterday that just didn't come off, just by a fraction. Had they come off, we could be talking about a very different debut. So you do have to cut him a little bit of slack for that as well. He's going to try things that your normal fullback's not going to try.
And that's why he was so successful at Liverpool. I mean, he might try 50 passes in a game. He might lose possession in 10 of those, but the one that he does get right wins Liverpool the game. That's why he was so special. But I wanted to take our minds back to the 23rd of May when Arne Slot publicly criticised him. He said he's going to leave anyway, so why not? It would be the first gift I can give Xabi Alonso. But I wasn't completely happy with every single minute he was on the training ground. Wow. In my opinion, there were certain moments he could do more, to put it mildly. I told him he's a much better defender than people think, but you don't show it all the time. And then we fast forward on a month, and Xabi Alonso, the direct quotes are, Trent's a very talented player, but at this level, talent alone isn't enough. He needs to work harder physically and be more consistent, especially defensively. He has to meet the standards set for fitness, discipline, and effort.
If they wanted a good defensive right back, they should not have signed him.
Agree.
Because he is an average defender, and that's me putting it politely. When you compare him to even Reece James, when you compare him to obviously Wan-Bissaka's, etc., he's just not up there, and he won't be. So they can put this pressure on him defensively if they want to. It's not going to change anything. His positioning is average. We've seen that for years now. So I don't know. I find it weird that he's zoning in on his defensive game. I would have thought Real Madrid would have known that he's not good defensively. Obviously, this was a shambles, but he's not going to be great defensively. You got to cover up for that. You got to Valverde. You got to get your centre back in wide areas like you did with Konate.
Although to be fair to Alonso, he was bought before he rocked up there.
Well,
he would have had a say.
There should have been some planning and some foresight for that, for sure. Absolutely.
But when Alonso,
he would have signed it off. But I guess what I'm saying is, would it have been his first choice?
Maybe not. Well, his first choice that he had for the last few years is at Liverpool now.
Yeah.
But when you see him talking about fitness, listen, I know it's the first game, or is it the last game of last season, or is it the first game of this season? I actually don't know what it is. But when you're talking about fitness, and Liverpool fans have seen him have kind of almost that caught out moment where you aren't breaking your neck to get back like a Robertson would. Any circumstances, the blinkers go on, put your head down and just sprint. We've never seen that. And again, I'm not having a go. I'm just telling you, as someone who has watched him in person for the last 8 years, so in such a detailed way, that isn't his game. So when they talk about fitness and sprinting back, he's never done that.